Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Brendan Plays. This is Total Extreme Wrestling for our All Elite Wrestling Save. And we are now in the first week of December. We're about 4 or 5 weeks away from our next major show, which of course will be our New Year's special. Really looking forward to that. And at the moment, we are building our storylines as we head into that special event, the New Year's Smash. That will be a pay-per-view for us instead of being a televised special. We decided, for our sake of the company, for our financial situation, because we're struggling badly with our finance. Every month we've been in the red. We need another pay-per-view. We need to try and generate some money, so we're going to do that through the New Year's Smash. Now, obviously, this, as I film this episode, we're a week after Brodie Lee's passing. So, this is the first time we're playing TEW since Brodie Lee's passing. So, rest in peace, Brodie Lee. Tragic, terrible news that really shook the wrestling world. It was such a weird and crazy event that happened. I don't think anybody expected it. It really shocked me and surprised me. It was really sad. It was AEW put on an amazing tribute show to Brodie Lee, and here's my dilemma. Now, Brodie Lee is a guy that we kind of weren't sure where we're going with him in terms of the TEW game. We were kind of a bit hot and cold with him. He hasn't really performed to our standards too much here in the game, but there's no doubt about it. He was the leader of the Dark Order. He was the right man for the job. And if we were going to go with the Dark Order, he was the best guy to be in charge. And we're just getting ready for Brodie Lee and Darby Allin to have a program together as well. So we're just starting to get Brodie Lee back in the mix, which is a real shame. But obviously, with Brodie Lee now gone, I feel like it just wouldn't be right to keep using him in our game. So we will be letting Brodie Lee pass in our game, so we'll no longer be using him. And here's the deal. AEW put on such an amazing tribute show. I'm really torn about how I want to go about this. I think, for our show, absolutely, we're going to mention it and we're going to make it a part of the show. Will we make the whole show a Dark Order special? Maybe not, but certainly we'll do, the tribute to Brodie Lee and things like that. I was having two ideas. I thought, one, maybe I'll have Brodie Lee main event and have a big win, whether it be a TNT Championship win or just some major win that he can go out on high. And that could be his last match, and we can kind of, do that instead of him just being gone. Or, of course, if you really care that much about the TW stats, you could have him have someone beat him to, gain some momentum to someone else. But I'm not really interested in doing that. I think, I'm not sure, I really am torn. But in terms of the Dark Order, here's my thoughts on it. You either get rid of the Dark Order, or you kind of do something big with it. I feel like if the Dark Order just kind of floundered around and did nothing, that would just kind of be a little bit disrespectful for what Brodie Lee was trying to accomplish with the group. So for me, I'm really torn again in going two separate ways. I will either break up the Dark Order and have segments of the group, for example, Evil Uno and Stu Grayson stay together, they can keep teaming. Maybe Reynolds and Silver, maybe he can go Silver on his own. Preston Vance, he could probably go on his own. Alan Angels, maybe release him. Alex Reynolds, maybe release him. Anna Jay obviously got plans for her on her own. Maybe she can be more of a manager role as well. That's an option there. Or the second one is we find a new leader for them. There's no doubt about it, they need someone who's got some credibility to kind of elevate this group, because at the moment, they're kind of down the dumps. Now, in real life, there's no doubt the Dark Order will turn babyface. I've got no doubts about that. But for our game, it's probably too hard to turn them all babyface, and we don't really have a babyface leader for them, other than maybe a Matt Hardy. So if we're thinking about, all right, let's replace them with someone, everyone else is top of the card, I probably wouldn't. And the only guy that I'd be thinking about would be Matt Hardy, but of course we just got Jeff Hardy. So we've just signed Jeff Hardy. He's going to be our big signing, maybe our only big signing of the series. So the Hardy boys coming back together to really elevate the tag team division and just make it even better than what it already was. That's the plan there. So would Matt Hardy veering away from that, or maybe Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy both joining the Dark Order, would that really work? I don't think so. So the only other thing that I could personally think of, and I actually like the idea. Now, it's not Darby Allin. Obviously, he could kind of work with that, weird persona that he's got, but I feel like the Exalted One, having that size and presence really added to the Dark Order. So the only guy that I can really see matching with that will be Lance Archer. Now, he's already here, which is great, and he's got Jake Roberts in his corner. So hear me out. Lance Archer, obviously, he's got great momentum right now, great credibility. Has he lost a match yet? No, he hasn't lost a single match in AEW. He's been amazing for us. In terms of in-ring matches, he hasn't quite been terrific, but in his individual performances, he's been good. He's now starting to gain popularity, so things are really working for Lance Archer. And then, of course, having Jake Roberts in the group as well, I feel like he could really help elevate the entire group. And what I would probably go with is Dark Order having more of a, for a bad word, I suppose, more of a darker feel, really, dominating, really kind of beat down your opponent, maybe, injure their opponents, really like a menacing, very, very tough, very strong group that, really push the limits, push the boundaries, and really beat down their opponents and be a very tough, strong group. And now having Lance Archer at the top of that, I think really would work. Lance Archer's like a, no BS type of guy who's just going to come in and kick some ass. And if we morphed the Dark Order into being that, I feel like that could help the whole credibility of the group. And Jake Roberts being there as well to cut promos for the whole group, I think would be fantastic. And, Roberts would kind of suit that dark role. He's kind of been that, he's been that evil character his whole career. And Lance Archer just being a guy who beats the crap out of people with Jake Roberts doing the talking for him would certainly work. So that's really the only guy that I've kind of got in my mind that could really fill the role of the leader of the Dark Order. And even then, would he be a genuine leader, I suppose? On paper, I guess not. He would be the muscle of the group, the star of the group. But would he be doing a lot of the talking? No, he wouldn't be. That's where Jake Roberts would come in. So it would kind of be a bit of a split role. Two guys to fill the shoes of Brodie Lee, I suppose. And looking down the card, there really is no one else that I think could suit this at all. So that's kind of where my only other option is. So for me, you disband the group and let the Dark Order kind of, lack of a bad word, die with Brodie Lee, unfortunately. Or, we try and make something of the Dark Order and really make it, a big deal and get someone else at the top with Lance Archer there. Now, a lot of people might think, okay, well, what about Eric Rowan? So let's have a look at Eric Rowan. Now, obviously, he made the big save on Dynamite, but his stats in TW just aren't good. He's also 39, so bringing in, a guy that isn't established on our TV at this age, and with not great stats to back it up, probably wouldn't be a long-term great option. He hasn't got great star quality, hasn't got any mic skills, his in-ring skills are pretty poor. The only thing he's got really going for him is he's got 47 pop. So Lance Archer kind of beats him in every single role there, if we had to compare the two. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'll ask you guys in the comment section down below, what should we do? Should we keep the Dark Order rolling? Should we go in with Lance Archer, or do you have another suggestion, maybe another guy we can hire or someone else in our roster that you feel as though would be a good fit for the group? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'll leave it for now. I won't touch the Dark Order just yet. We'll kind of leave it for now, and then we'll come back to it soon. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get this Brodie Lee show done. So just thinking about it, I still like the idea of maybe having him, in a main event for one last match. I think that would be great, but also kind of would be a little bit weird, like a tribute show to Brodie Lee, we probably would need 2 weeks of kind of tributes, I suppose. Brodie Lee has, one last big send-off, then kind of passes away, So we probably won't do that. We might just do our own little version of a tribute show. I don't think we'll do a full every match Dark Order related. I think that wouldn't work in the TW game, but what we'll definitely do is have, a big special tribute to Brodie Lee one last time. So let's go ahead and get AEW Dark booked and ready to go. Backstage incident, Michael Nakazawa had a barbecue for everyone. Hopefully he didn't have any oil around. So let's make sure we set the right arena this week, and let's go ahead and book this week's Dark. Alright, this week's AEW Dark is booked. Let's take a look. Bea Priestley and Leva Bates in the pre-show as Bea Priestley picked up a win. Bea Priestley 29, Bates 26. We advanced the Thunder Rosa and Priestley storyline, but of course, Priscilla Kelly is involved there by having Thunder Rosa ringside. That was on the pre-show. We opened up the show with, a pretty strong team of babyfaces, an 8-man tag team match. Colt Cabana, Darby Allin, Matt Cardona, and Joey Janela defeating TNT and the Acclaimed. We just wanted this one to basically an easy win to get the babyfaces out there, get them a win, keep their momentum going. Some of them, like Colt Cabana, Janela, and Cardona, haven't had a lot of wins as of late, so a good chance for them to get in the mix. Darby Allin was easily the best in the match, 63 from him. And of course, the heel side of things, they're still very new, so good chance to have a decent match for these guys anyways. 46 in the end. Shawn Spears is interrupting powerhouse Will Hobbs, and of course, Dash was interviewing him. Will Hobbs is about to have an interview there as Shawn Spears and Tali interrupt, and they promise to stop his momentum. Shawn Spears is trying to hold down the newcomers of AEW to try and elevate himself, so he's looking to maybe target Will Hobbs, who's obviously making a bit of a name for himself. 35 for this one. Jurassic Express took on the Butcher and the Blade, a part of the Tag Team Championship Tournament. Luchasaurus, 53. Jungle Boy, best in the match, 54. The Blade, 36. Butcher, 33. Obviously, Jurassic Express, one of the top tag teams we've got going right now on the roster. And they picked up a nice solid win over the Butcher and Blade. 48 rated match is pretty good as well. Post-match, a good promo actually. Jurassic Express cutting a promo, talking about their early momentum they have in the tournament. So I think they're undefeated at the moment. They've had a few wins, and that's a pretty solid promo. So I'm actually kind of looking forward to Jurassic Express. I feel like out of this tournament, this is a good thing for them, getting a bit more TV time, a bit more exposure, and maybe if something's going to come out of this, and maybe the emergence of this team, which is great to see. Jake Hager is with Chris Jericho. Yeah, look, cheated a little bit, I suppose, if you will. Look, Chris Jericho has been the mouthpiece for Jake Hager for a while, so I figured, okay, let's have Hager there with Jericho, and they're going to hype up Hager's upcoming match with Matt Sydal. So yeah, look, it may have helped out a little bit, but nonetheless, it didn't actually affect any storyline because we didn't have the right components of the storyline anyway, so it won't technically matter too much. But it's an 87 promo, and we actually had Hager talk as well. We had Hager speaking in the segment as well, and somehow it was still good. So that goes to show how good Chris Jericho is on the mic, that Hager can still cut a promo and Jericho can make it an 87. The match itself was a 54 main event. Jake Hager, Matt Sydal, a part of the championship tournament for the TNT title. Hager 58, Matt Sydal 43. Jake Hager wins and advances to the next round. 54 for a 52 overall show. Okay, so we've booked Dynamite. It's a very difficult show to book, considering we couldn't make any signings, so we couldn't have any Eric Rowan appearances or anything like that, because it already advanced up until the day of this show. I wanted to try and make it a mix of, Brodie tributes and feel-good moments, but also kind of continue to at least make the show sort of make sense at the same time, splash a little bit of current storyline in as well, as just making this a simple tribute show. So we've wanted to make a couple of big matches, and we've gone to try and do that. So hopefully it's not too bad. I don't think it's going to be a great show on TEW, but it's my little way of setting a little bit of a tribute to Brodie. It's nothing too spectacular. It's just a simple, here's some matches. The wrestlers will be sharing their stories of Brodie and etc. So let's get into it. So pre-show match, Will Hobbs defeated Michael Nakazawa. Just a simple quick match. We needed to have a wild brawl in the show, so we put Will Hobbs out there for a simple win. These two have no chemistry. So we opened up the show with all the roster out there and celebrating the life of Brodie Lee. So we had some of the Dark Order guys there. We had Sting, Moxley, Jericho. Just basically the whole roster would be out on the stage. I figured the Dark Order, what I would probably do is have them in the ring, and they may have had, Brodie Lee's gear, his coat, his boots, everything that kind of makes Brodie Lee who he is, and they kind of lay that in the ring, and they kind of start off the show by celebrating him there. 68 for this segment, that's okay. Very hard to kind of do a tribute match with, a tribute angle, I suppose, because the game will think there's nothing happening. So we went with something a little bit different here. So we reunited the Elite for a night as they took on the Young Bucks and the Lucha Brothers. So we kind of went all out here, a bit of an all-star tag team match. And we wanted to try and make this one the steal of the show and open up with a really fun sort of matchup. It got a 71 rated, so it was an 8-man tag, 20-minute match. This could go one of either way, let's be real. So we had Adam Page 73, Nick and Matt 75, Cody 74, Penta 55, Ray Phoenix 66, and FTR 62 and 61. So 71 rated match is not too bad. Obviously 8-man tag, very hard to have a good rating, but I figured good to get all these, good guys out there, top stars in one match to kind of celebrate Brodie Lee by trying to have a kick-ass match to kind of open things up. And like I said, not everything will have Dark Order related in this show, but Nick Jackson broke some fingers in this match. Hopefully he'll be okay. Cody Rhodes with the promo, sharing some Brodie Lee stories, 85, so that was obviously fantastic there from Cody. Darby Allin says he will join the Dark Order for one night only as a tribute to Brodie. So originally we were going to do Brodie Lee versus Darby Allin at our New Year's Smash pay-per-view. So instead of doing that, Darby Allin, instead of declining the Dark Order and not joining, he decided to put on the mask for one night only. So he teams up with Silver and Reynolds. They take on SCU, and that team of the Dark Order does win. So Darby Allin 63 was the best in the match, Daniels 58, Scorpio and Frankie 52, Silver 37, Reynolds 33, and a nice win for the Dark Order. The Blade, obviously, he came out and distracted SCU as well to kind of continue what's been happening with the tag team storyline, the tournament there, and to also kind of give a reason why SCU went down in this match. So 55 for this match is actually quite good, to be honest. That's pretty impressive. Next up, MJF was in the ring, and he was kind of mocking the Dark Order. He was kind of healing it up and kind of being the real dick until Preston came out, had the run-in, he threw over Wardlow and MJF. He cleared the ring to make sure MJF was no longer disrespecting the group and Brodie Lee. So a bit of a feel-good moment. MJF getting some heat, kind of using a bad situation to kind of get some heat. He gets cut off pretty quickly when Preston comes out, and he kind of clears house to shut him up. So a nice little babyface opportunity there for Preston to get the big comeback, get the big, get the big moment for his group. 68, worked pretty well considering who was involved. We had just various wrestlers kind of sharing Brodie Lee's stories, so we kind of morphed them all together for 66. Britt Baker took on Anna Jay for the AEW Women's Championship. So I figured, good opportunity here for Anna Jay to step up and represent the group. Unfortunately, she didn't win the championship on this one, but she, gave Britt Baker everything she had. It took the interference from Rebel to allow Britt to pick up the win. So kind of like one of those matches where she takes her opponent to the absolute limits and just didn't quite go her way, but she earned the respect of everyone for how hard she fought in this one. So apparently they have great chemistry as well, and somehow they have great chemistry but still only managed a 30 rated match, so go figure. The Elite talked about their future together with or without Kenny Omega, so 78 for this one, so a bit of a continuation of their match. Kind of talking about how much they enjoyed teaming up tonight and whether or not, they can, make something of the Elite without Kenny Omega, or do we need to try and convince Kenny to come back? So that kind of continues the Elite storyline there. Probably the only thing that's really storyline-centric on this show. Main event was the Dark Order versus the Inner Circle. I just felt we had to get the Dark Order a big win on this show, so we let them defeat the Tag Team Champions. They cheated. We kept Jericho and Guevara strong. We made sure that they looked $1 million. It was a fluke win. Dark Order, they pulled off a miracle for Brodie Lee type of thing. 66 rated match. Stu Grayson 46, Uno 46, Guevara 70, Jericho 85. Just a miracle. A miracle for the Dark Order. and pick up a massive win for the name of Brodie. Post-match, in the inner circles, Jericho and Guevara embrace. They shake hands with the Dark Order. They celebrate the big win that they got. They give them respect and show respect to Brodie Lee for 78. And then finally, we have a video of Brodie Lee to close out the show, celebrating his life for 49. So I feel like we're going to get penalized heavily for overusing the Dark Order, so I don't expect too much here. We only got penalized for using Stu Grayson and Anna Jay too much. In the end, a 62 rated show, so it was always going to be an uphill battle to get a great rating on a show like this, especially when trying to use the Dark Order. But look, I don't know, maybe it helps the Dark Order get elevated that little bit. You know, that might be one of the ways that Brodie kind of sends off his own little tribute to the group, getting their chance to shine. Difficult show to do, difficult show to really do right. I don't think there was ever a way I was going to be able to do it right, but, you know, my own little tribute. I thought maybe Brodie Lee wrestling on this show, having one last match before we don't use him again would be appropriate, but, you know, we went with this instead, and this, you know, of course, will be the end of Brodie Lee. Okay, let's take a look at the fallout from the show. So, we had NXT, had a 71, nearly 4,000 people in attendance. Io Shirai and Candice LeRae in the main event for 81, so they actually had a pretty decent show. For us, we had 749,000 viewers. Not too bad for 62 rated, of course. Anything else to kind of check out? Not really. So we had our recent AEW Dark, 11,000 viewers. So we had a small little viewership gain for Dark as well, which is always nice. So as we know, Nick Jackson broke some fingers, but he'll be back completely healthy in 6 days, but he can still wrestle. So by the time the next episode of Dynamite rolls around, he should be okay. Now, one other thing I'm kind of thinking about in a celebration to Brodie Lee is maybe changing the name of our New Year's Smash pay-per-view. I'm not sure. I was trying to think of some sort of catchy name. I was thinking maybe the Exalted One be the name of the show. I just didn't know if that would really fit. You know, maybe the Exalted. I don't know, but some sort of tribute name to the Dark Order or to Brodie Lee for the name of the next pay-per-view as a one-off special. Or maybe the name of a pay-per-view going forward for AEW to celebrate the life of Brodie Lee. That, or maybe name the tournament after Brodie Lee, or name something after Brodie Lee to kind of, you know, give him a lasting legacy in that sort of way would be kind of neat. So that's some of the things I'm kind of thinking about. Maybe we'll think about that a little bit more for next episode. So a quick little look at the popularity swings. So Jericho did take the loss to the Dark Order. He's only had a handful of losses. It might even honestly be one of his first AEW losses. It was his first AEW loss to the Dark Order. So there you go. That is that's how big that loss, I suppose, is. He didn't lose any popularity, so we kept him strong. We made sure that he was okay. If anything, he's been gaining popularity like crazy. Cody Rhodes up to 67 now, so he's gained some popularity after this show. He had a great promo, of course. Moxley 73 and Megan didn't really feature too much. The Young Bucks up to 60 plus, which is great. So Brodie Lee obviously featured all over the show, and he gained a little bit of popularity, I think, as well, to kind of, maybe not actually, but he moved up to back into the star status. So that'll be the last time, unfortunately, we see Brodie Lee for us. We will be editing the game to make it so he has passed away, which is very sad indeed, but that'll be the last appearance for him. As for other changes in popularity, I mean, we could have actually had Jeff Hardy debut on this show, but we decided we'll obviously wait for a little bit longer to let Brodie Lee be the star of that show. Sammy Guevara took a big loss as well. I don't think it's going to affect his popularity too much. If anything, he's just, you know, staying the same, holding his popularity quite well as well. Darby Allin up to 44, so he had some good little moments there. He's back on the rise, which is obviously big for us. And I suppose the Dark Order, you have to believe they had a good night at the office. Evil Uno now at 35 popularity. He was at 32. So he's gained 3 after beating Jericho and Guevara. Stu Grayson up to 36. So he's gained 4 after beating the Inner Circle. Who else in the Dark Order, I suppose? We'll shift down and take a look at the rest of the group. Alan Angel's up to 18 popularity. Anna Jay as well, 18. So that's good to see a little bit of improvement out of them. Alex Reynolds up to 18. John Silver, 18 as well. So not a lot of improvement, if any at all, from the Dark Order for the lower end side of things. Preston had a big moment. He had now 18 pop. So he's gone and gained a little bit as well. So that's good to see. There is some little bit of improvement there for the Dark Order after coming out of this show. If something decent can come out of it, I guess it is that. So that's kind of where we're at. You know, coming into the next month, things are going to be a little bit different now. We're going to obviously have to end the Darby Allin and Dark Order storyline, which is a bit of a shame. I was looking forward to seeing how that one would play out, but it was good to have Darby Allin join the group for one night only. I suppose the question is, what do we do next with the Dark Order? You know, are we going to try and find a new leader? Do we disband the group? What's the plan? You know, is there someone in this group that could step up? Maybe we do a storyline where there's some dissension in the group. We try and find the new leader. You know, some guys are trying to take over. Maybe Stu Grayson and Evil Uno have, you know, John Silver maybe have some sort of back and forth as they try and become the new leader. I'm still, for me personally, where I'm at is I would actually think Lance Archer joining the group and taking over, kind of storming the group. Maybe they're having some arguments, some dissension. They just can't quite seem to work it out. Lance Archer hits the ring and just beats them all up, kicks the crap out of them, and says, "I'm your new leader. You follow me now." And that'd be it. You know, these guys get kind of put it back into line. Lance Archer beats them up and puts them into place. You know, that might be something that we can go for. That'd kind of be, you know, a Lance Archer sort of thing to do, I would think. So that's kind of where I'm at. That's where I'm heading. Unless someone can come up with something better for me, that's kind of the decision I'm going to go with. So something a little bit different, but I feel like something big has to happen. Something big, otherwise the group is just going to, you know, fizzle away and nothing's going to happen. I don't think that should happen. You either let it go now or you got to do something big with it. With that being said, difficult show. The Brodie tribute, hopefully it was okay. Next time we come your way, we'll obviously get back to building our storylines for the New Year Smash, or as I said, maybe the Exalted One pay-per-view, I don't know. But thanks guys for watching, hopefully you enjoyed it. Rest in peace, Brodie Lee. Thanks for all your contributions to the wrestling world. We had a lot of great moments and some really kick-ass matches, not just in AEW, but obviously in the WWE as well. So he will be missed. Thanks guys for watching. See you next time.